everybody. Today I'm going to share some of the small blocks, or what I'm calling elements, that I've been making for my Bits and Bobs collage quilt. It's kind of a experiment. I don't really have an exact map to follow. I'm just creating beautiful little things that make my heart sing, and I'm going to add them all to this background and in a collage-y kind of way. I love Victoriana. I don't know if you will know what that is, but it's the paper ephemera that they used to cut out and put in scrapbooks and all mishmash of a collage. This is going to be kind of like that, but in fabric. I've called it Bits and Bobs, and it's because I'm using some of my treasured things that I've been collecting for a long time, and so I've got some of them to share with you today, and here goes. This is probably, well, there's a bunch that are my favorite, but this is definitely up there. It's my crazy quilt sewing machine. When I was a little girl, we had an antique sewing machine that didn't work anymore, but it was shaped similar to this. I've talked about it before on my blog. And that's where this design that I've used a few times in my quilts have come from. This time I made it into a little crazy quilt. It's yeah, so this is that block, and the plan is, once it's on the background, I'm going to do some extra stitching in the dark blue embroidery floss around the edge here. So that's the plan for that one. Oh, and this was very popular when I made it, so when I decided to offer it as a pattern in two sizes, in this small size and in a bigger 12-inch size. If you're interested, it's available on my website. All right. The next one was a belt buckle and a matching button that I had for ages, and I don't even remember where I got it from. So this is what I have created with it. I think it's a fun block. And my plan is, with pearl cotton, I'm going to do a stitch once it's on the background. I'm going to do a stitch in here. The next one I featured in a playing with embroidery stitches video. It's a lace panel. I took this beautiful lace that I had from a vintage dress that was damaged, and I embellished it with embroidery stitches. And the dress had these little wooden buttons, and that's the plan, is to, once these are on the background, I will stitch this in. I've got bunches of things like that to say. So that's the plan. I think it's very pretty. I think the embroidery did a lot for these lace panels. They were kind of plain. Now, this is another one of my favorites. It's my heart. Isn't it not lovely? Yes. Don't mind me. The plan for this one, again, when it's attached, is, and I did a tester, I'm going to use this color, but I'm going to put little X's in all the little white spots here in this color. I think that'll be a lovely addition to this beautiful, pretty, sweet little block. Now this one was kind of fun. It's brought me back to my making Barbie clothes days. I made fabric patterns and I embroidered them onto fabric. And I even went so far as to pick a plaid back here that sort of was reminiscent of our cutting mats. And I put tiny little embroidered pins in. And the plan is, I have a pair of scissors, a scissor charm. I'm going to stitch it on as well at the end. Now, this one is also turned out I'm very pleased. It started with these mini yo-yos that I made in polka dots. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. And then I thought of them as flowers sticking out of a spool. And then I didn't know what to do with the stems, and on the rickrack stems I put little French knots to sort of bring in that polka dotty theme. And I stitched this lovely interesting yarn around the edge as a frame, and then on top of that I made tiny little mini prairie points that are the same fabrics or close to the same prints as these little polka dots and the spool, and I framed the block with it. I think it turned out, yeah, I like it. Now I've got two of these. Today I'm just showing you this one. It's a button card that I made out of fabric, and I haven't quite decided which buttons I'm going to put on it when it's attached to the background. I don't know. I've got time to decide. I've got some glass ones here that are just lovely, and I've got vintage plastic ones. I'm not really sure. I kind of wish I had another one in this color, so I would like to have it more balanced instead of 3 of the lighter pinks and a dark one. But yeah, might be going smaller. I'm not really sure, but I think it'll be fun. Now this one all got started with this crinkled up seam tape that I took off of a little baby doll dress. And it just stayed wrinkly, and I thought, oh, isn't that got an interesting pattern to it? And then I also had this eyelet that was actually 3 layers of eyelet, bigger, that came off of an old slip maybe or something like that. So I just decided to layer them up and embroider across onto a fabric, and I made this little pretty. I left the wrinkles in because that just makes that block. Now, this piece I've also talked about on my Playing with Embroidery Stitches #1. It was about gingham, using gingham. And here is what with my shadow box lines, here is what the block looks like. And I'll show you sort of the plan for the inside once it's attached to the background. I guess you're getting sick of me saying that, but it's true. So I'm not sure about the bow, but I was thinking of putting the bow up top. But here's my pretty little charms and pieces. That is the plan on stitching them in the little shadow box squares and rectangles. Okay, that's it for today. I have more, but I'll wait till I have more, and then I'll make another video. I hope you enjoy it. I'm having a lot of fun playing with this project. It's not a pattern I'm offering, but I do let my members have access to a whole bunch of pictures and details in the schoolhouse section of my site. But other than that, I have no intention of making it into a pattern. This is just for me to play. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again. Bye.